Ladies and gentlemen, at 6 o'clock,
Do you want me
Bishop
to
Roman,
push start record? Okay.
will you lead us in the prayer?
Appreciate the Father, Lord, thank you for once again being able to serve this great city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I
I pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here. I think back a year ago, we didn't go anywhere. Nobody went anywhere in public. So we have the minutes of the emergency center council meeting and the presentation, and then also we have approval or corrections for the minutes. Do I hear any discussion or motion on approving the minutes?
Motion we approve.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh yeah, we got to find out who's here. Sorry, Luzon.
That's all right, I already had it recorded.
Yeah.
Councilmember Dietz.
Here.
Bolden.
Here.
Blevins.
Here.
Sansing.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Mashburn.
Here.
Trailer. Twitty. Smith. Raines.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
I'm here.
I have two absent, sir.
Okay. Now, any discussion on the minutes? Not, I'd entertain. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right. You don't hear anything about the consent agenda?
So approve this, so move this consent agenda be approved in its entirety.
All right. You got a second? Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right. So that brings us to Mr. Oakley. You're up on your bid for asphalt.
One bid.
Yeah. Your one bid?
Yes. I'll lay some light on that. That one bid for asphalt, we advertised that project here a few weeks ago. And I called the other vendors that normally bid, and they said their wagon was full. So everybody has got more work than they can do. I called around some other places to see what asphalt was going for. This bid seems to be about 10% higher than what the normal's been this year. But again, they said even if they charged twice that, they couldn't get to it no sooner because they're just full of work. So it's kind of borderline whether or not we should move forward with it. It being 10% higher, I can't see in the future. Don't know what we've had a lot of inflation this year. I don't know if it's going to go up, down, or what. But so it's hard to say unless we wait next year. I kind of like to some guidance from y'all. What you think on that?
Anybody got, yes, Councilmember Blevins.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Oakley, is there any way, since we only had one bid, is there any way to go back to them and maybe negotiate and say, hey, look, is there any way we can get this down to the price that surrounding cities are paying, like around the $95 mark, $90 to $95 per ton mark?
No, sir. In fact, I called them today, and they said even if they charged $202, they doubled it, they still wouldn't do it no sooner. Or no, they would not.
They would not go
really
cheaper?
Prepared to do it at 101.
If we did wait, there is an opportunity though that we can get it cheaper and actually do more stuff for less price, because this is all petroleum based is why the price is so high.
That and inflation.
Yes, sir.
I can't say, I can't see the future, but it's possible. Yes. It's about $30,000 higher than what I'd expect.
Jimmy, how bad is the roads that we need to?
We got needs, but they can make it another year. That's necessary. They're
Are they
not
bad,
such poor
bad?
condition.
Are they bad now?
Well, no, but we don't want them to get bad.
Well, I
That's
know
why
that
we
we
do a
don't
yearly
want it to get
program.
that way.
We didn't do one last year. We need to do one, but I mean we'll be okay.
Yeah.
We need to do it.
Yeah, we need to do it. Let me tell you something about inflation. I'm sure all of us are wise about money. Inflation, everything's going up. So it's not going to go down.
They're not gonna get cheaper, I don't figure, but I can't predict the future either.
We can't keep putting it off. The road's gonna keep getting bad.
They're going to get worse and
Get worse.
tap
The
my
road's gonna
throat.
keep getting worse. You can't keep putting it off.
Okay, Councilmember
That's
Blevins.
right.
Yes, sir. Is it possible, because we only did this one bid, and I know normally since it's higher, you said it's about 10% higher. If we did wait, like say 2 months, and we rebid this around the October timeframe, that at that point, if we decide it still goes underneath the same amount of money for this year, I mean, do you think Do you think it is no worse to where if we wait until, say, 3 months from now to revisit and rebid it, maybe some of those companies might have freed up some spot, we might be able to get a couple more bids?
No, sir. The only possible chance we might have is wait for the first year and bid it early, say March. That may help. Of trying to get in it on it early, but they're full, like I said, their wagon's full for the rest of the year. You ain't, they don't want to bid it. They don't want it. They got more work than they do.
Is this a all or nothing bid? Like, is there a chance that we could use this price because it is high and just hit the really, really bad spots right now and maybe leave the others to the beginning of next year?
I can't say without asking the contractor because it was bid with that number of tons.
Could I address that? I address it because we have an asphalt parking lot, and in our budget, we had to hit the big holes and leave the small holes. And when we did that, it ended up being the small holes ended up being so big it cost more money. So to do what you're saying, I understand, but that would make it worse if you just go for the big holes and these small ones. And the small ones are going to be humongous.
I didn't mean the big holes. I meant the roads.
Yeah, well,
Like the roads that were the worst ones, and then the others that are not.
That's what we're talking about, asphalt and the road. If you neglect one to go with the better one, the different road, the other one you neglected is gonna swell.
Well, I was just looking. We didn't do this last year, so we have some that were already a year old. So what if we use this quote and we just took care of the ones from a year ago that we were already going to do that we didn't do because of COVID, and then we pushed these off into the beginning of next year?
I see. You're talking about a rebid again. They bid
Yeah.
what we presented in the bid package.
Yes, sir.
I cannot alter
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know it was a rebid. That's why.
Right.
I was just asking though, what do you think about doing something like that, like trying to come back with?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Never mind. I'll retract the question.
Okay.
Any other questions on this?
Jimmy, we generally inspect and overlay or grind and overlay as necessary
Terry,
on
I
a
need your
5
mic.
Pardon?
We need your mic.
Sorry?
Mike, please.
Is it on? Green light on?
Green light's on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
A little better now, yeah.
Okay. We generally have a 5-year rotation plan where we go and inspect everything about 5 years and see what needs to be taken care of, correct?
Yes, sir.
We're already 1 year behind our normal 5-year plan because of last year when we didn't do anything. I think that even though it is higher, that if we put something off even another year, we'll throw our plan that much further behind. And with this last bad winter we had when it was so cold and the damage it caused, I think we run the risk of even having higher bids in the future trying to take care of the problems that have come up with. I don't like that it went up this much anything, but we know that everything is going up. Everybody's busy because they're trying to repair the same bad winter damage. I recommend we just bite the bullet and take care of this and not get our plans and not get our streets any further behind. It's for the overlay program.
Jimmy, I have a quick question. The lowest bid, is that within the 25% of the amount appropriated by the city for this project?
I'm
The
sorry.
amount the lowest bidder came in at, how far off base is that from what we usually get? It's like 10%, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am, 10%.
So Cheryl is probably more familiar with this than I am, but in order to do an exemption or modification, it has to be higher than 25%. The lowest bid would have to be higher than 25% of what the city has allocated for this project. Is that correct, Cheryl? Before we can ask for any sort of modification or amendment to the bid. So that may answer your question. We can't do it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I have some questions.
Okay.
Well, first, I do want to say that we should just go ahead and go with this bid personally, but I just wanted to make sure. So the prior asphalt overlay program was in 2019, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the one prior to that was in 2017, is that correct?
Sounds accurate.
Okay. And we normally routinely put these bids out at around the same time every year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we've dealt with this contractor prior.
Correct.
Okay.
He's a reputable contractor.
Right. And have we had any issues?
No, ma'am.
All right. Last question that I have would actually be to the mayor. Is there anything stopping representatives who know that there are open bids out, assisting in reaching out to contractors and just saying, hey, you might be able to bid on this, you know, your company might be able to do this. Is there anything stopping us from doing that?
I don't believe so. I think it's legal for us to do that. Now, we did contact the other vendors that normally place a bid and just tell them and send it to them and people in that business. We sent it to them, but nobody wanted to do the work right now. They're busy.
Right.
We're required by law to advertise in state, local paper, which we did.
Right. And I'm sure that we did. I just want to make sure that I know what we're able to do as representatives to assist you in serving this community. And long term, I don't think that it's long term acceptable to have only one bid for a common contracting type thing, you know. But maybe if we help in some way, you know, reaching out in the future or do, I don't know. Is there anything that we can do to help you in the future?
This is not the first bid opening like this we've had.
Right.
This is the first one that we've got one bid on.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring issue that I've been seeing, that we only have one, you know.
And that's rare. And he's been the low bidder before.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've dealt with him before. I'm just asking for the future to make sure that, you know.
They did tell me they give City of Conway the same price as us, and they liked it the same way we did. Not very well. So, yeah.
Okay. Any further questions? All right. I entertain a motion to approve this bid.
So
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed, nay? All right.
I said nay because they ain't gonna do my street. They never do your street.
All right. That brings us to the Planning Commission. Wants to bring something to Councilmember Dietz.
I'm bringing up something just for the city council, but I'm glad I see Mr. Stroud, who's chairman of it, here in the audience too. But we were just a little concerned. The planning commission, we did meet Monday, and the planning commission does a great job going over everything, doing a lot of due diligence, checking out the properties, and it's what I was told, because I had been on the planning commission or the city council for 1 year, that it's very unlikely that the city council normally turns down something that the planning commission had approved. So they wanted some clarification on why we would do that. And I said, well, I will bring it up and present it, and then we'll try to figure it out. But I have no reason. But I would recommend everybody now that's on the city council, before our meetings, I have everything going out to you, so you know what's coming up on the planning commission. So I would think it's in our best interest of the city that everybody reads that, and everybody finds time and go out there and look at it personally. Because I know that I don't know where everything's at in town, everything's grown, but everything is changing. And the only way I think you can ever make an educated decision on a lot of things, the zoning requests and the way they do it is set up, and there is rules and regulations, and we follow that to the best of our ability on the planning commission. But in some instances, that might not always be what's best. But if you don't go out and know what you're looking at, I think it's hard to make a decision on what you're gonna change or vote on. That's just my opinion. But I know I get mine usually on Tuesday, or Wednesday, and the meeting's on Monday, and it's part of my due diligence to the city of Jacksonville and the mayor put me on this committee. I go out and personally look at it. I want to know what's happening, what they're going to do, and why, and then try to make sure it's in the best interest of the city and the zoning. So with that said, they said, well, you need to ask them why they turned it down. They never have but once before. I said, well, I'll ask them. Here we go.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Deeks, it has been in the past that the people that's pointed to the planning commissioner are people that's represent the city of Jacksonville. And they doing what they can for the city of Jacksonville and zoning this for the city of Jacksonville. It's not a policy of the city council to turn them down, because we pointed them to that position, and we expect for them to do it. Anytime that fails, I'm gonna say this: it's political. That's what happens. That's what happened. It's political, and you should be telling no lie about it. My partner has me in his pocket. My partner, he's a good friend of mine, and they're turning down political. But mostly, all the time, is for the betterment for the city of Jacksonville. Anybody on the planning commissioner, anybody on the city council, is for the betterment of the city of Jacksonville. So therefore, we don't really turn nothing down, hardly, from the planning commission. Because those guys are out there just like the rest of the commissioners who runs the city of Jacksonville. And they doing their volunteer free services for the city of Jacksonville.
I would like to say something.
Councilmember Blevins.
I don't know if I understood that right, but I want to say that during the city council meeting that this happened, that was majorly voted to not approve. That I have no dog in this fight. I wasn't trying to do anything political at all. I didn't agree with it. Thus, I made my decision, which is what I was voted on here to do. There's no line in my pockets, and I'm definitely not in anybody's pocket. So I just want to state that for the record.
And I think I'd like to make a statement also.
Councilmember Sensing.
When this issue came up, I have no idea what political thing could be involved in it. My whole opposition was rezoning an area for a manufactured home that had not been and was surrounded by other homes that were not manufactured homes. I just did not think it was a smart idea to put a manufactured home in an area, creating an island with a manufactured home in it around other standard brick and wood structures. That was my whole point of view.
Well, if you look at the diagram.
Get your mic closer to you so we can hear you.
Excuse me, if you look at the diagram, there's mobile home parks on either side. It's Dennis Lane's here. There's mobile homes in there. There's one house that's on the corner. It's a really nice house somebody built, but they could have chose to build that anywhere, but it's right there. But if you look behind Dennis Lane and you look down at the end, them are mobile homes. So they're all are mobile homes beside it and everywhere. Where this house is, where he was going to be, is kind of it is kind of a modular in there, and he was going to put his house. And it's not about him. And don't get me wrong, because the person that asked for, that's just one person. They were wanting clarification on the reasoning as far as that. So it's not about him, but it looks like to me, if you saw what was in there and went down in there, to have someone in there that was taking care of the lot in affordable housing, whether maybe it should have been a conditional, it would have made a lot more sense to have somebody in there. Now you got a house on the other side of it that's, to me, that's why I said everyone needs to do due diligence, go down there. It's a shop someone's living in. Okay, and there's stuff everywhere. So I'm not saying any that, but I'm just saying, to me, that a nice new mobile home would look really nice in there, and they're taking care of it. They're going to mow the yard because all this was theirs. He had ownership to it, so basically it would be taken care of. What we got now is going to be a grown-up lot with nothing in it, and we got plenty of them in town right now. That's not doing us any good. I see the out there. There is some. Be honest, there is a couple commercials. Them things have been available for 30 years. So if somebody's going to put something commercial in there, then they're way overdue. But to me, that'd be a hard area to put commercials. But it's so mixed. But 2 streets behind it and in front of it is all trailers. So when you turn down in there, you have one house that's nice. And I went down in there, and I personally went twice because I had to go back and looked at it. And I was surprised that, to me, I mean, if you've got somebody living in a shop building out there, that's worse than a trailer.
So I'll leave that up to everybody else.
Councilmember Blevins.
Wouldn't that location look awesome with a bunch of houses in it, and not like a bunch of houses? No.
There's one on the corner, and there's one other one here across from this.
All right, be sure and speak in your mic so we can
Yeah,
hear you.
that's what I'm saying. You'd have to drive down there to get the real effect.
You would
And I
do.
did twice, and I'm telling you what I saw. And you know, I don't know. I know it. You know, it's code enforcement's got their hands full. It's not a code enforcement. It's everywhere in Jacksonville. But to take a look at that, so I guess let me bring this up. So on 161 South First, across from UN Veterinarian Clinic, has anybody been down there in a while? There's a really nice double wide there that comes across there. I guess that was already zoned though. But he took something out and put a really nice double wide. I'd love to have that in some of these areas than what we got, some of these properties that are really getting dragged down. And I know that doesn't conform to what the planning commission is for, but it's different things that sometimes you have to make rules and regulations based on what would be best for that land use. And I think that would have been best for the land use. To me, if they want to build houses, there's 30 lots right down the road that are already set up in Homer Atkins Drive that they can go buy for $12,000 and be in a subdivision. But that's my say, and y'all can tell me your opinions. And but that was their question. They wanted to know why, and I said, I don't know. I said, but I.
Okay. Any other comments to Mr. Dietz? Councilmember Dietz?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay, Councilmember Sansing.
Just one comment. It's not so much necessarily that it's going to be zoned for mobile homes now, but we know that mobile homes tend not to hold their value as well as other things. We have all over the town, we have lots of mobile homes that have deteriorated over the years, and I personally didn't want to add another mobile home area into the city when we've got so many, because I'm thinking 30 years down the line.
Well, I'm thinking, just to be honest, and to answer your question, you know, there's some of them I'd like to have in my neighborhood. Now, I'm in a fairly nice neighborhood, but I'm just saying, you know, there's a lot of houses in a lot of areas that I don't think should be maintained that way either, but I guess that's the code enforcement. But to have something out there where it would have been, you know, that's on the outskirts and there's a little bit of mixed everything. That's why people went out on the outskirts of town. That's why they go to the county, so they can do what they want. So to me, you know, in Jacksonville, we're also trying to come up with affordable housing. I mean, you know, most of us who probably in our houses have been, but that, you know, to get affordable housing right now, what you're hearing is the truth. There's not any. I mean, you're fixing to see some spectacular prices on these property go up.
Gentlemen, so that we keep our terminology straight, the petitioner did not request a mobile home. He requested a manufactured home,
Right.
which is different. And I'd also like to point out that the property adjacent to it is already zoned R5, which is also modular home, which is the same thing as a manufactured home without wheels.
They own that.
So let's keep our terminology square.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, thank you, Mr. Dietz. That brings us to ordinance 1664.
Mayor, if I can.
Yes, go ahead,
I would-
Councilmember Blevins.
I would actually like to withdraw this ordinance, and I would like to spin the rules to make it a discussion, to bring a discussion item about the recycling center instead of the ordinance. I don't know if that's how it works, but I would still like to have a discussion. I have Mr. Oakley here, in which I'd like to do that.
Okay.
I'd like to make it a discussion item instead of utilizing the ordinance. Is that
Yeah, Stephanie said that's fine.
okay? Is that cool?
Huh? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to vote.
We need, okay, we're gonna need a vote, and what we're gonna vote on is suspending the rules and making a discussion item about raising sanitation rates.
Well, it's just about discussing. I do not want to mention us raising any rates right now. I would
Okay.
love to just discuss the status of the recycling center right this second, as well as bring up the history of why it is where it is right now with Mr. Oakley's help, and then go from there.
Okay, the motion is to discuss the recycling center and the history and the longevity of it. And so, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of hearing this discussion, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Yay.
Councilmember Bolden.
Yay.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yay.
Councilmember Sansing.
No.
Councilmember Ray.
No.
Councilmember Mashburn.
Okay.
Councilmember Twitty.
Yes.
Councilmember Raines.
Yes.
I have 6 voting aye and 2 voting nay.
So we don't have 7.
We do not have 7.
Okay, so we don't have 2/3 majority to go on with this discussion. Okay. That brings us to the CBDG contract. I think, is that your station? Those that haven't had a chance to read it. But I'd entertain a motion to approve the CBDG contract with Teresa Watson.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All right, now we're open for discussion. Anybody want to discuss anything about the contract? Councilmember Blevins.
Okay, when I first saw this contract, I noticed that since last time we did speak about this, which was back in June, it was added in there that if we ended up hiring somebody, that this contract would end, and that we would continue with the new person. Now, also at that time, I was told that we were going to be posting that job, and that the job was going to remain up until it was filled, and it hasn't been filled, but you said you had some applications, but it wasn't a sealed application bid, right? Like, it was just
No,
but is currently not posted right now.
currently not posted. We're going to interview the applicants that we have. If we don't hire one of them, we'll repost it.
Okay, and also the amount of money that the city gets from this grant, from the entitlement grant, is about $200,000, and this contract is listed to be $95,000, which means we're paying $95,000 to basically dole out $105,000. Also, when I asked about the payments that were made, I FOIA requested with finance, and they sent me the payments that were being made. And at the time of retiring, they paid Miss Watson for 480 hours of sick time, which is something that the city does, but they took that money out of the entitlement grant fund. And I was kind of curious about that. I didn't know why that money was taken out of the grant fund when it was a city deal. But I guess I'm just trying to ask: is paying somebody more than what we pay the mayor really worth doling out $100,000? So that's kind of my question.
Cheryl, I mean, it's all legal what we did, right?
Legal isn't in question.
Okay.
Legal is not in question. I'm just, it said there's only supposed to be 20% of it used for admin, and according to a story that was told from 20 years ago, like, there was a conversation that apparently granted us a rule that no one else has ever heard of, with a story that I don't think anybody else has ever heard of, and it continued on for 20 years. But I mean, that's the way we've been doing it. Unlike any other city, like, they all stick within 20%, but we do have this, and there's also no proof, like, there's no letter or anything, but we've been doing it this whole time. But I'm just trying to say, like, if we've been paying that this whole time, is that still what we should do? Should we still be paying $95,000 to dole out $105,000?
So, Brian, I don't think I've had a chance to share the statute with you.
No, ma'am.
It talks about the employer-employee type of contract versus an independent relationship. So, if you have an employer-employee situation, according to the federal statute, they can't be paid in excess of level 4 of an executive schedule with CDBG funds, and that currently level 4, I had it pulled up, is $172,000. So we fall well under that.
Absolutely.
But because now this would be an independent contractor relationship, we're no longer governed by those requirements. So that will no longer be an issue going forward.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion on the contract? All right. Did I get a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion, second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed, nay? All right, it carries. All right, few things. Acknowledgement, Foxwood Estates has a sewer improvement district that they're signing and turning in and getting it all. And they just want to tell us that they've appointed new commissioners to their sewer improvement district. That's all. This is just information for y'all to know that sewer improvement district. They're wanting to change from grinder pumps to gravity fed sewer. The other thing is, Miss Emily, okay, we've got an appointment coming up, and I've had several people call me and ask me to serve on the Civil Service Commission. I didn't know his term was coming up or due. So could we, like Little Rock, North Rock, Sherwood, all has a website that has all your boards, commissions, and an application, you know, when they expire, an application to fill out and turn in, so we can get a list. So our boards, if it's more representation of our community, would you help her get that done, Susan, and get it out there on that list?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it,
Actually, in your office.
I don't have it.
No,
But-
Michelle has it.
Okay. So, yes, Michelle will work with you. So,
Okay.
yeah, we need to get it out there and get people that are interested. You know, now they called me 6 months ago and I'm supposed to remember, but people that, you know, and they say they keep it for 2 years on the Little Rock website. So
Okay, perfect.
I think we need to be more on top of our board and commissioners and not let them expire and reappoint them from months or years ago.
I understand.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I'm putting that on your lap and working with Susan and Michelle. Let's get her done.
That's no problem.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Emily, when are you gonna put that on the website?
As soon as I get the information, I can post it that day.
So you can have it on this week?
Yes. Mhm.
The reason I asked that question, because the philosophy on what's being stated, I'd like to make a motion to pull this appointment until that's put on the record to give other people a chance to apply. If it's possible, I don't know if it's possible.
Can you pull it on? Huh? No. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we pull the civil service.
Well, we already have a motion to second. No, we don't have a motion to second. No. Okay. We got one of the one before. Okay. So now he can make that motion. Okay. So Bishop Bowden's making a motion to table this for 30 days,
Well,
or until the website's up and working.
the website is up and working, I give people a chance to apply.
Okay.
We do have on the 20th a termination or disciplinary action hearing. And this is our chairman. So,
I mean, don't they serve until they're replaced?
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, they serve to replace.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna kill his servitude, it's just,
And I did talk to Mr. Piggy, and he's willing to serve again.
okay.
And so the motion on the floor, do I have a second to table this until the website's up and running?
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion second. Any further discussion about tabling this? Okay, Councilmember Sensi.
I can understand why we want to get it out there to the public, but I personally have no problem with Mr. Piggy continuing to serve.
Oh,
I've
he's
known
a nice
Lester-
guy.
I've known Lester a long
That's not a
time.
question. I have no problem with
I
Mr.
know
Piggy.
it's no question for anybody here. I think we should just take care of this business and then put the list up going forward.
Okay, well, you're gonna get a chance to vote.
Yeah,
Any
let
other
me bring
comment?
clarity. It's not that I have a problem with Mr. Piggy, it's just that.
Right, it's not personal.
It's not personal. If it was personal, I'd tell the person to their face. The point is that if people are trying to get into these commission slots, I mean, that's how I ended up on the water commission. They opened it up and I got a chance to apply. So, even then I know he's gonna serve until a replacement comes. So it's not that we're getting rid of him, he'll stay there until. It doesn't disrupt anything. It keeps the flow going. That's my only.
Okay, and like you said, it's not personal, and he may be the best one we put back on there when we do it, and so, yeah.
He got good credentials.
So any other discussion on this before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of Councilmember Bowden's motion to table this until the website's up and running, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Let's do a roll call.
Roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Councilmember Bolden.
Yay.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yay.
Councilmember Sansing.
No.
Councilmember Ray.
No.
Councilmember Mashburn.
Yay.
Councilmember Twitty. Councilmember Raines.
Yes.
6-2.
Right, motion passes.
Okay, motion passes, so we've tabled that till the website's up and running. Okay, but he'll still willing to serve and all that. So the next thing I have on my agenda is Mr. Powell here? Okay, you want to come and speak to us? Mr. Powell lives at 116 Joyner, and Mr. Davidson let him park his truck over at 119, and he's been mowing the grass and taking care of the lot. And so I'm going to give you the floor. Sir? I don't know, what is this? Yeah, I had called and asked him to hold off in forcing the code issue on it, where they said you're parking on city property. City owns a lot at 119 Joyner, and he had parked his truck there, and the code asked him to move it. I said, hold off so he can come and talk to the council, and we can decide what we're going to do. So, your request.
Well, the request is, I want to park.
Speak into the microphone so we can hear you.
I want to park my vehicle.
Yeah,
You can pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to park my vehicles. I haven't been doing it for 8 years. I've been mowing it and cleaning it for 8 years over there at 117 Joyner Avenue. And I've been doing it for years, and I want to just keep doing it if it was okay with everybody else. Give me the property or whatever, because it's been doing away with the waste, leaves, limbs, mowing, the whole 9 yards. So,
Does anybody have any questions on this? Mr. Sansing?
Go ahead, go to this.
So have you been mowing city property for 8 years?
because I have to park my cars over there. 'Cause
He's
I can't
not the
park
only
them.
one in the city that does that.
Yeah, because see, the lot there, well, my house is it's at 116 Joyner Avenue. Now, it's at the stop sign. Now, if I park my cars on the side of the street, it's gonna cause a traffic problem. You know, cause that means can't nobody get to the stop sign and be able to stop. So people turning in off of Roosevelt, turning on Joyner. You see, it's gonna cause a headache. And you can't see them cars
So let me get this right.
when they turn in. They'll run into it head on.
Code enforcement served you because
I was
He's parking
parking
on city property.
city property.
that you could.
Yeah, right.
And
But I've been
I had
paying-
him suspended till he could come down here.
For 8 years.
Been cutting for 8 years. We served.
Would you consider buying that in the city?
I'm kinda lame.
Councilmember Sansing. All right, hold on, everybody. Councilmember Sansing.
Look, I am aware of this issue. Recognizing the fact that he has been saving the city mowing money for 8 years. Every time the city has to mow that property, it's $40. Every time he mows that property, the city saves $40. He was asking for us to give the property to him. We cannot do that. We do not give property away. However, it's a very simple solution. Lease the property to him for $1 a year. It saves him from having to pay for it. It saves the city from having to mow the property. It allows him, since he's leasing the property from the city, to park his vehicles there. But since he's leasing the property, he becomes 100% due for the upkeep of that property, where code enforcement can say you can mow the grass and stuff. But it's gonna save the city $40 every time it gets mowed. The property gets upkept. It gets used for a useful purpose. It does not block, his vehicles are not blocking a stop sign at an intersection.
I got you.
It's a win-win all the way around. That is my suggestion. Just lease the property to him for $1 a year. He doesn't have to try to come up with a big out-of-pocket trying to pay for it. And the city actually saves money with him upkeeping the property for us.
Well, what if
Councilmember Blevins.
what we did is we go back and we look and we do, instead of leasing it to him, why don't we come up with a price for it and we give him a credit based on all the mowing that he's already done or something along that lines. I don't know if that's something we could do or not.
So I feel like this may set a dangerous
I
precedent.
got you. Awesome.
Right.
Sorry, my bad.
Allow
I just
citizens who have city-owned property adjacent to theirs to come in and say, please give me this, I'll mow it.
You're right.
I feel like that's a slippery slope.
well, I'm definitely down for selling it or
Right.
yeah.
And normally when we sell a piece of property, we get it appraised and they pay appraised value.
Okay, Chief?
Not familiar. I was familiar with them mowing it. I don't know about the parking. I don't know what code cited him for or gave a warning for. Is it parking on grass? In that case, leasing it to him is not going to solve the problem. He will continue to park on the grass. I'm not familiar with an ordinance that says you can't park on city property. I don't think that's what he was tagged for. I'm not familiar with it. What was the citation or
It's right there.
Pardon me?
It's right there.
That's all right.
Read it out loud.
You'd like me to read it out loud? Okay. Per Mayor Johnson, you've been granted an exception to park your vehicles on the vacant lot at 117 Joyner Avenue, which is currently owned by the City of Jacksonville, pending a possible purchase agreement between you, Mr. Powell, and the City of Jacksonville. Code enforcement has granted this exception for 90 days, thus expiring on October 12th, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. An extension can be requested prior to the expiration date by contacting the City of Jacksonville Code Enforcement. A copy of this exception will be kept on file at the City of Jacksonville Code Enforcement Office.
When you park on that lot, what do you park on? Gravel, driveway?
Well, I got it, so, how to describe it? It's not soft. I got it so it's hard, but it's not. It's real hard, surface there.
it's dirt?
It's
Dirt.
But it's grass there, it grows a little bit, but, but about it just enough. I keep everything moved around, I weed eat around all the vehicles, but they in the way. I'm not keeping grinding back in the house, getting the darn heat. I just weed eat around it, and then when I go back again, when it moves to be different, I just mow the rest of the grass.
Citation for parking on grass, all right, Chief?
I think it was. I don't know what they gave.
It wasn't a
I think it was a
citation.
warning.
Right.
Either a 3-day or a 7-day, because that's the normal process. I would assume it's for parking on grass. I don't know though.
Right. I guess my major concern, and I know code enforcement is doing their job and they're doing it by the book. I have no problem with that. Good team. However, when you have a constituent that has been taking care of property for 8 years, and if I take $40 a week, that's 52 weeks in a year, times 8, you don't pay for the property. So I don't agree with him getting a citation for that.
Well, he just got a warning.
Okay, I think we need to work this thing out some kind of way. So, I mean, you got a person that's taking care of the property.
I'll tell them not to enforce city ordinance on this property if you guys vote to allow him to park on grass, violate city ordinance.
But if we vote for him, it'll open up a slippery slope. And I don't want to do no slipping in and sliding, hitting and hiding. No.
We do allow gravel driveways in Jacksonville. Gravel driveways are acceptable.
It got burned out, so that made it just plain empty lot.
Right, but if you were parking on gravel, it wouldn't be in violation of code, and it would actually be a driveway, but
But making improvements to properties not yours is also an issue.
But also, you're making improvements to city property that you're not authorized to do, so it's kind of a dangerous question.
Could I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes,
And just ask for our powerful attorney.
But it is blacktop that we,
Is there,
creek there.
I know we've sold properties before, we got an appraisal and sold
Right.
it for that. Is there a possibility we could do that with this property to him?
If we did it appraised,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yes.
I think, would you be interested in buying it?
Right, so, well, that
We have to make sure that it doesn't come up with some outrageously ridiculous appraisal
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's
because,
what we've been seeing lately on some of these.
but because the
properties.
appraisal comes up like that, don't mean you gotta sell it for that.
That's right, y'all get to make that choice.
Yeah.
And it's on the assessor's books at the county at $1,000.
The property?
Yeah,
But that was because the city took over it, right?
yeah, it belonged to Mr. Davidson, and he gave it to the city a few years ago. Yeah, after the house burned down.
I think we should,
I talked to
Get
Mr.
it-
Davis at the time, because I had just moved in over there.
okay.
So Mr. Sullivan, he sold his house to me. So I went and fixed it up, and so it was living for my family. So, and then Mr. Davis, I met him, and he told me it was fine, because my cars was parked on the side of the road.
Right.
He said, well, you can park there.
But what I'd like to do, if that's the way we can, I don't know, but if that's the way we can, to get an appraisal
Buy the property.
Yeah.
and then buy it.
We can get
Not only
appraisal,
that,
can't we, Jimmy?
Not only that, then,
Half as much as the lot's worth, though.
excuse me?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Half as much as the lot's worth.
Right. What I was going to say is that there's a way that can be handled. We do it a lot in the real estate field. We get a broker's opinions of 3 different people. We come up with a value that's fair based on a true market value. The city doesn't have to pay for an appraisal. I do it for attorneys all the time, and then the attorneys take it, go to the judge, they sign off. So there's a way to do it. I would refer it to 3 other real estate brokers. I would not want to be involved because
Right.
a conflict, but I would be happy to do that. And
And then it'll
what you
show
just
up
said,
back
right?
here.
Them lots over there. I mean, you can get them from $500 all you want to $1,500. I'm just telling you. So, I mean,
Right.
it wouldn't be. It would be in a fair range.
Yeah, I think.
Jimmy, you'll help me contact 3 real estate and get a letter?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do that for you. You've got 90 days. We'll bring it back next month.
And I want to say that
Yeah.
I like Brian's idea about giving the gentleman credit for all the years that he has kept the upkeep on the property and knocked that off the price.
Well, we'll do that at the time of the appraisal.
Right. We'll get the letter,
I
then we'll
think it's a
make
whole-
that
I think it's
decision.
a whole lot better. He's been cutting the yard 8 years. Is that your
I'm not sure
son?
past performance.
Then it-
will
then
go
it be your
towards
property.
public
Hey,
credit.
Brian, you know what?
Yeah, he watching back. He just make sure.
Brian, we could be owing him money.
Councilmember Blevins.
Well, I'm sorry. My question doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm sorry. I just did something. I'll ask after we're done with this. I'm sorry. I just
Okay.
keep in mind I have something I'd like
Do
to
we
say.
need to make a motion for this, or that's just something we're gonna do?
I think we've already decided that's what we're gonna do. We don't need a motion, do we? No. Jimmy and I are gonna get 3 letters, bring them back to you, next month, and we'll take a look at this issue. I'll let you know when you're on the agenda.
Okay.
All right?
Do I keep that?
No, you can have this letter, so, yeah, that's your get out of jail free card. Okay, before we go to announcements, Councilmember Blevins.
And I'm so sorry because I'm really, I'm new to this and everything. When I asked to suspend the rules to do my question, it said it had to be a 2/3 vote, right? Is 6 of 8 not 2/3?
It's the majority, correct?
It has to be 7 of 10.
Yeah, it's the whole body, not
Oh, it has to be 2/3 of everybody.
If somebody's absent, they
Who's
count as a
there?
no, yeah,
Okay.
basically, or
right.
abstaining. They
I
abstain.
guess I kind of got. I was just thinking. I was like, wait a minute. 6 of
Yeah.
8 is definitely more than 2/3. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? All right, you said you had something. Then I have an announcement or whatever. Go ahead.
Okay, now it's just time for announcements. Anybody have an announcement?
Well, I have a few things I want to address, and then
Okay, well, go ahead.
Jimmy, I've had a few phone calls about the Access Road, John Harden, and TP White.
Yes.
There's like speed bumps, or I don't really know what it is, but if you're going the speed limit, you almost have to come to a stop to go. Do you know where I'm talking about?
I do, and they did do some repair work. Mayor Johnson I've contacted him many times. Mayor Johnson contacted him, finally came out and fixed 3, I think, on TP White. But that one on TP White closer to Bart Gray Realty,
Yes.
it is. It'll change your radio station.
Yes.
So will the one in front of Jacksonville Medical.
Yes.
And then the one over on
Those are the two
Braden.
I'm talking about.
And you got one on Braden right there before you turn to the clinic, the hospital.
Yes.
It's also bad, and we have reported them to the state many times.
Okay, well, I'm getting several complaints and wanting to know if I can replace some tires for some people.
I can give them a phone number to call the state.
Okay.
That falls under their jurisdiction.
Can we address them again?
I will.
Yeah, I don't mind calling.
I'll even call and ask if they need assistance. We'd be glad to help them with,
Yeah.
in the repairs.
Okay.
But they have to approve it. They're real
Okay.
picky. They don't want people working in there right away.
All right.
The
Thank you.
District 6 engineer is Mark Hadley. And actually, I gave his number to Tara, and she called him about the stop sign there at the James Street exit.
Ramada,
They're
yeah.
doing a survey, a traffic survey on that to see if he can improve it. And I said, well, get him to fix those bumps. I've told him, I don't know, 3 or 4 times.
Yes, it is bad.
Okay, yeah, it's,
And, I'm sure they're thinking, is they're gonna replace it soon? Why don't want to spend any money fixing it? But, we gotta drive on it.
not that it would take a whole lot to just smooth it out, but
Right.
I'm not into the street.
Yeah,
But
it
I
may
think-
have some broken. We went out there on a call after ours last week and cut rebar sticking up out of it.
Yeah,
On
it's-
both sides.
Yes.
About pretty close. One side had a large piece of rebar, we took a cutting torch, cut it off. The other side had a piece too. And so, yes, there's
It will
definitely a need.
definitely change the radio for you.
Yes.
All right, we'll work on that, Jimmy. We'll work on that.
I have
Yes.
something else. This is for Miss Mashburn here. I've called, left you a message. I've had several people call about the historical museum, the vines that are on the building. They're, I don't know. That's what I was calling you about, to find out what could be done, who's responsible for that.
Is that 120 North First? Okay. Yeah, we've actually put weed killer on those, and they're about to be dead. Yeah, we realize it's an issue.
Yes, there's
And
been
we're
a lot of
fixing it.
people complaining on social
Yeah.
media, and then I've had a few phone calls as well.
Yeah, I've had a couple myself. So, yeah, so Kevin's taking care of it. It's under Parks and Rec. It's a city-owned building now. It's not the historical district's building. I don't remember what day, but Barbara said she signed deeds over to us, and somewhere there it's a city.
Oh, wait, that is a city building?
120 North.
Jim's Pawn Shop is a city building now? It's
Yes.
not owned by the historical
Yeah.
district?
And I wasn't sure when I got the FOI request that we had, I signed and do a lot of things, so.
Yeah, I actually asked and I was told that it was definitely owned by the historical district.
It was, and when we merged into historical commission, all that, they gave their assets to the city.
How long ago was that?
19? Yeah, 2019.
Was that about the time that Miss Mashburn was granted the money to fix Jim's Pawn Shop's roof?
No.
So before that,
We were
was that
granted
historical
money.
district? So how was the city able to take that money and fix the senior center if it was owned by a 501c3 nonprofit? How were you able to take the money to fix this other thing when she got the money to fix Jim's Pawn Shop?
She said it wasn't going to fix her problem, and she didn't want it anymore. She had
Okay,
to
but
approve.
how do you donate that to the city though if it's a grant to fix? Miss
She
Mashburn,
didn't
can you explain
donate
it?
the
I'm
money.
just-
We went into a contract with the city and the historical district. We are now underneath the umbrella of the city.
Now, but not then. That's what you
It's
just.
still the historical district, and it has to abide by all the rules and regulations of the historical registry in Little Rock.
But that wasn't the case then, right?
Right.
Okay,
We
so
knew
that's
we
my
weren't
question. I'm
gonna get
asking
it
why that happened
fixed.
then, if that's the case.
We knew we wasn't going to get it fixed. So for us to try to even come out and try to get it fixed, we turned the building over to the city and we went under the umbrella of the city. So the historical district is now part of the city.
So then it was at the time that you got the grant for that then?
No, it was before then. In 2019, we went with the city, okay? The grant was before then.
Right.
We wasn't
So
gonna be
how was-
able to fix
how
the
was-
building for $25,000 because it was too much, it cost too much to fix.
So now my question is, how did the city get a hold of that money when it was a 501c3 that
It
was
came
not
from
under?
the CB, it came from Teresa Watson.
Okay, but
Okay.
again,
so-
it's a nonprofit that's getting that money.
Okay,
How
they
did the city get a hold of
applied,
it? That's
but they never received the money.
Yes.
okay.
They
so,
didn't give the money back. They just never received it.
so how did you get it though?
Me?
Or the city? How did the city get it? That's what I'm trying to.
Well,
came
we asked Teresa to pay for the roof at the senior center
With that grant.
with that, with part of that grant money, once they had to say, I don't want it, before they could fix the roof of the senior center.
Is this part of the city council?
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm not sure.
I was just kind of curious because I just got thrown off by something that was told to me. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
No.
Councilmember Twitty.
I'm still not done. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, July the 16th is Lemonade Day at
Yes.
Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that or if everybody is. It's from 9 until noon at different places. It's going to be at the, of course, the Chamber, the Arkansas Office Product, Get a Grip, which is going to be set up at Foxwood Golf Club, First Arkansas Bank, Double R Florist, Main Street Sonic, and Family First Pharmacy. So what they're doing, you can, each one of these that are setting up their lemonade stands are doing it for either Hope for Hazel is the one at the pharmacy, which is a great organization that they're trying to raise money for. The Animal Shelter, the Boys and Girls Club, the Lions Club. So each lemonade stand is the money that you donate for your lemonade goes to these places to help them out. So hopefully that somebody, all of y'all will make time to go between 9 and 12 to one of these stops and get you some lemonade.
And I have one more thing, and then
Thank
Okay,
you.
I want to make sure, is it an announcement?
well, it's just
We're
a
on
question.
announcements right now.
Oh, I was just going to ask when we were bringing back curbside recycling. That's all.
Well, we've already discussed recycling.
We,
so-
but no, I mean it's a city service that everybody's paying for. So I'm just wondering. I'm getting questions from people asking when it's coming back. So
I
was just
no-
wondering when we're coming back.
Well, it's gonna come back when we have more money, I think.
But it was only closed because of COVID. That's what people were said. So it was only closed because of COVID, right? So we should just be able to bring it back, right?
Would you address this, please, dealing with this recycle so we can get this over with?
I mean, people are asking me online
He's
about it.
gonna-
So I'm
he's
just,
getting ready to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
you.
absolutely. Let's do it.
Yes, prior to COVID, we was already having some financial constraints.
Put your microphone a little
Oh,
closer.
yeah.
Prior to the COVID hitting, we done a survey asking the citizens if they was interested in the recycling and how much, and would they pay more to have more services. We was coming to our point, our equipment was failing.
Yes, sir.
Our truck, our baler, et cetera. Before we could finish the survey and bring it back to the council to tell, the issues we have, COVID hit. And for the danger and the safety of the employees, for hand sorting all the plastics and stuff, we stopped the service. It's been working out fine just having drop off. And
Absolutely.
it saved us and it's balanced our budget. We had to add another truck to pick up landfill bulky items that was a heavier need, that we used some of those funds for too. So we are in the black right now and we're maintaining without a rate hike. But if we add anything additional, we would have to find the money somewhere else.
But I mean, it's something that we were already doing, right? So I mean, we can't just start it back up. Like we wouldn't need to have any kind of raise to bring it back because people are already paying for it, right?
Yes, we do not have the funds to start it back up at this time. There's no funds available in the current budget to buy all the equipment and to hire the employees to start curbside back up.
So it was.
We needed a rate increase.
So it was closed for COVID, but we're not opening it up because we're not bringing it back because of cost.
Correct. Well, you've seen the budget.
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay.
So can we make a motion to have a public hearing about that? Can we do something like that and have a public hearing about the price hike?
The council member call a public hearing?
He can do it on his own. You contact his.
Yeah,
That's what
you
I
can
did.
call it.
Awesome.
Public
Madam
hearing.
City Attorney, I made a motion to be adjourned, and that adjournment is always in order.
No, it was not. Bob stopped it.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you through? All right, there's the motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Yeah, second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the audience and watching on TV or your computer.